I'm JJ with Innovative Nutrition. I'm going to answer a question that I had posted for me. It's regarding carbohydrates and high protein diets. So what is a carbohydrate? We're going to talk about the three main macronutrients that you consume each day. One is protein, two carbohydrates, and three is fat. So one of the confusions in the question was regarding sugar and carbohydrates. Sugar is a type of carbohydrate. So when you're consuming sugar, you're consuming what's referred to as a high glycemic carbohydrate. That is a carbohydrate that really affects your blood sugar drastically because it digests quickly and enters the bloodstream very quickly. So those are the things that you want to try to avoid, especially if you're pre-diabetic or if you're trying to maintain blood sugar for other purposes or just general health. Also, if you're trying to lose weight, maintaining your blood sugar is going to be very essential. Some foods that would be carbohydrates. Well, just because a food is predominantly one thing or another does not mean that it does not contain some other elements of another macronutrient. So when you're looking at things like nuts, nuts are primarily fats, but they may contain a little bit of protein. Rice is primarily carbohydrates, but also it may contain a little bit of protein. Some meats are going to contain mostly protein with some fat. So it's not like a single food type is going to contain all of one thing or another, but it's going to be more predominant in one area or another. So I've got here eggs, and eggs are going to have mostly protein with some fat. Now, protein is 4 calories per gram, carbohydrates are 4 calories per gram, fats are 9 calories per gram. So it takes very little fat to get your caloric intake very high, where protein and carbs, it takes a lot less. But carbohydrates, depending on the type, can really spike your insulin levels and cause your body to store a lot of it, so that carbohydrates can actually cause you to be fatter a lot quicker than fats. Both carbohydrates and fats are used for predominantly for your energy source for your body. Protein also can be used for energy, but protein is generally used more for tissue repair. That may be skin, hair, nails, your digestive tract, your organs. But for most people that are working out, protein is being used for muscle repair. So consuming a lot of protein is going to help with the muscle repair, but you want to try to still consume enough carbohydrates to reserve the protein that you're consuming for that muscle repair. Otherwise, your body's going to be using just the protein for energy. Now, when a person goes on to a low carbohydrate diet, what generally happens? Well, your body has a type of stored sugar. It turns a lot of these carbohydrates into glycogen, and that is the stored version of sugar in the body. Now, once you begin to consume more glycogen for your energy source, the body is going to also flush out water, because it takes about 3 grams of water to store each gram of glycogen. So when you're just consuming a high protein diet and you're not consuming a lot of carbohydrates, the body begins to burn off that excess glycogen, and you see a sudden reduction in weight because you're also losing a lot of water. That's going to slow down after a week or so, and you're going to see a huge initial weight loss, and then you're going to say, well, it stopped, maybe my metabolism adjusted, I don't know what happened, but it's not permanent. Well, just hold on, keep with it, because now you're really getting into the fat burning stage. It's where you've used most of your stored glycogen, and now your body is going to have to rely on other sources of energy, so it's going to start tapping into the fat stores more readily. Now, if you're binging frequently or every couple of days, you're going to replenish that, and you're going to see a sudden weight gain. So you may have one meal that you had a lot of carbs with, and then you step on the scale the next day and you say, how could I gain 5 pounds off of just one meal? Because my meal didn't weigh 5 pounds, so how did I gain 5 pounds? Well, it's the fluid that you're consuming, water, coffee, soft drinks, whatever you are drinking, your body begins to store more of that to store the glycogen from the carbohydrates you consume. So you see, again, an increase in body weight. So the low-carb diets, are they effective? Yeah, of course they're effective. Is that the best choice for you? Depends on a lot of factors. Age can be a factor. Your genetics can be a factor. Your activity levels can be a factor. Your particular goals can be a factor. There's a lot of different things that can determine whether you need to be on a low-carb diet or not. Not everybody needs to be. But I would say to eliminate, or at least cut down, limit high glycemic carbs. I still consume some high glycemic carbs, and I consume them to replenish glycogen right after my workout, such as a banana. But most of the day, I use more vegetables. I use a lot of things like oatmeal, which is in this container here, brown rice, sweet potatoes. Those are more of the types of carbohydrates that I use. Now, by consuming those types, you keep your insulin levels in check. You keep your body from storing body fat as easily. It makes your body more readily use the stored body fat, so you stay leaner, you stay healthier. And if you look into the risk of cancer, sugar is something really to avoid. So that's my explanation of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. We could go into a lot more depth in that, but that'll give you at least a good start to help determine what dietary goals that you have and what your needs are going to be.